Trailhead. Alright. You know what? I know a shortcut, so that's what we're gonna do. We might die this round, but it's okay. Still trying to learn this build. And here we go. Hey everybody. Is there an item in this one? No, I don't think there is. Cool beans. So, I think so. There we go. Here. I'm not sure what's up there. I don't think I can really use the data points. So let's go. Oh, looks like we died. Alrighty, let's try him one more time, yeah. Shortcut over shortcut. Bring it down. Now I got some actual health. Should be a pretty different fight. Nose is itching like crazy. Super slow. I think I need a different weapon. Try to switch up the weapon. That's what I gotta do. She overstood though, I'll tell you that much. Sorry guys, back to what we were doing. Switch up this weapon. I know I got a different weapon in here. This one's a lot better. I almost had his head. I think I got him next time around. I think that shield definitely blocks off his attack.
Open your door. What do you want? I want to talk to the grown-up who lives here. Why? What happened? Answer the door. What happened? Answer the door. No, I don't even know who
I'm
you
your
are.
neighbor.
Is something
Yes.
wrong? Oh, can you tell me what it
Open
is?
the door.
Angry. I really don't want to open the door. And let you calm down.
Open the door.
Well, can you just tell me if something went wrong? Or if
Yes.
something happened? I'm not
There is something wrong.
angry.
Who are you?
Well, can you tell me what?
You are the mother of this house?
I'm the mother of this house.
Great. Well, we've never met, so let's meet. If your cat doesn't stop pissing and eating and biting all of the things at my house when I don't own a cat and you do, I'm going to get the police involved because I am fed up. My son is very allergic to cats. Your cat will not stay out of my yard, my house, my garage. He isn't in my house. Keep cat. It's your cat. I've already met your husband about it.
Picture it. You're sitting at home, relaxing after a hard day at work, enjoying your weekend, and then your Ring doorbell goes off. Who could it be? Is it the pizza delivery guy with that pizza you've been looking forward to? No, it's your neighbor Karen. And Lord above, has she got something to say. And you won't want to skip this.
Who are you? Investigator from the California State Board of Equalization. What did you say?
Okay, so
So
what are
do
you
you-
looking for?
Do you own this property? Are you the owner?
For?
I'm looking for the owner of the property.
Well, then I'm pretty sure if you're the tax fraud investigator for the state of California that you'll know how to find a property owner.
Well, if you're not the tenant on the lease, then I'm going to have the police out here and have you removed in 2 days. You understand?
You're funny.
Are you laughing at me?
You look like you're on drugs.
Unless you. Looks like you're on drugs. So
You're
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
We'll see what the police say.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. If you're, well, this house looks like it's got issues. Okay? And there's no. Okay. Oh, something at your door. You got squatters here at this property, and I'm going to prove to the police that you don't own it.
You're a squatter.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to have you removed from this property in 2 seconds, and I've got your phone number out here in your son's card, and I'm going to make sure that he's doing no construction without a license.
Handle your business.
Your business. How's it going?
You look like sour.
You got spider webs in your pot in your lawn.
You have spider webs in your pot.
You know what? Go back to doing your and squat on houses that you can't afford, lady. Be gone.
Okay, come back when I'm there and we'll see what you have to say to yourself.
Remember what I said earlier about that pizza you ordered? Yeah, well, Karen delivered it right to your door and wasn't happy with your tip. And you know what? She has a few things to say about it.
No, I can speak to you actually. Sorry? I need to speak to you. I don't think you realize where this is coming from, so I need to speak to you.
Where what's coming from?
Where the food you ordered is coming from. I don't think you realize the distance that it's come from, because then you would never actually have given what you would give. I drove 30 minutes, and it was extremely far, and I got it to you early, so I don't think you realize where you live from.
I don't understand.
Well, I
You're
think
from where?
from the restaurant that you ordered from. Do you realize how far it is? Do you realize you ordered from Colmac and you're in Midtown?
That's a 15, 20-minute drive.
It's not. You need to try to drive it. I just drove it. It's 40 minutes. It's 12 and a half miles. So I don't think you realize how far it is. So I think you need to adjust your tip to make it right.
How much does that?
You need an $8 tip.
What the hell are you looking for?
Okay, I'm gonna let the food back. I'm gonna let the food back. Okay.
If someone wanted something, and and came to your house. They ring the doorbell once, right? That's normal, yeah? Well, this Karen seems to have a bit different of an opinion.
Ah, come on!
I think I lost my other things too. Didn't I? That's okay.
Now, I can't work out if it's her own doorbell that recorded this one, but if it is, she really played herself. This Karen just seems to be in her natural habitat, simply attention-seeking as always. And if that wasn't enough, you'll never guess what she says.
Help, you mother! Help! 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 Please, I'm having a heart attack! Please! I'm gonna fall out! I'm gonna fall out! Help! 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 Help!
If kids were playing in your yard, you'd be well in your right to tell them where to go. But this Karen didn't think so. She instead told her poor neighbor off and had the audacity to say this.
I am really offended that you yelled at my kids for being in your yard. I don't understand that. I'm sick. I'm sorry.
Hold on.
Answer the door.
I have to get outside there. But hold on. Let me
Answer
get
the door.
and I'll be there. I'll be there.
Answer the door.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'll be there.
Girl, open the door. You yell at kids for playing in your yard?
Are you kidding me? I never even talked to your kids. I haven't even been outside because it's a pandemic. But you're so empowered. Your kid is having a blatant lie. Give me a second.
Open the goddamn door.
Hold on. Yeah.
When you move into a new town, you hope that all your neighbors are going to be friendly, right? You know, nice schools, nice coffee shops, and nice friendly neighbors? Wrong. Not this neighborhood. Signs show that this is a Karen and she's hostile. She's here to lay down the law, but not the legal law, the neighborhood guidebook law. And boy, is she ready. Move out of the way, Judge Judy, because Karen is on your tail.
Can I help you?
I want to talk to you. This is Zelda. I want to show you something.
I'm sorry, I can't come to the door right now.
Get out your neighborhood bylaw. It's section 5.20. No sign shall be in the yard.
Usually, Karens use their words to let us know what the problem is, but this one decided to use her hands to really let us know what her feelings were. As to the problem, my guess is as good as yours. Maybe she didn't want to be filmed, or maybe it was just something a bit more personal, but you won't want to miss it.
I think I'm just gonna grind you guys. I don't think I'm strong enough to like really face anybody.
The anywheres and the any reasons.
At least I got a save point though.
Get your
So
Starbucks
we're
order
gonna
now on DoorDash.
go back to here. Do some killing. I didn't kill this asshole yet. Huh. No wonder I'm dying so quick. Let's go kill some small fry. I feel like I don't want this build, to be honest with you. Oh, damn it. I was supposed to do that shit. It's that PlayStation 4 loading screen.
Man, they gonna see you. In some of the worst cases ever seen in Detroit, these killers get life sentences. Let's watch how they react. Number 4. 3 men sentenced. 3 men will spend the rest of their lives in prison for taking the life of a Clinton Township, Detroit party store owner. Darius Diaz Gaskin, Jomar Robinson, and Kenneth Hill were found guilty of Basil Sulaka's passing. Kenneth Hill, 27 years old, and Jomar Robinson, 26 years old, both of Clinton Township, and Darius Diaz Gaskin, 25 years old, of Detroit, were tried together in Macomb County Circuit Court and found guilty of the first-degree armed robbery, felony firearm possession, and conspiracy to commit armed robbery.
I hope that while you spend the rest of your life in prison, you actually reflect on the awful decisions you've made in your life. You have the blood of a loving father, husband, son, and brother on your hands. To the killers who murdered my brother in cold blood, I say this to you. You're an absolute disgrace to the human race. I hope you are haunted and reminded every day by all the ill choices you have made.
The 51-year-old Sulaka was destroyed on March 28, 2014, when suspects who were masked and armed stormed the Moonlight Party store. 2 of the men emptied the cash registers and kept watch on the door, while another shot Sulaka in the back with a handgun. A 4th man, Clinton Grayson, was sentenced earlier to life in prison without parole on a first-degree felony charge and other charges as a jury found him guilty. Sulaka had owned the party store for 18 years. He was married with 2 daughters. Vivian Sulaka, Basim Sulaka's sister, said he was a peaceful man who didn't keep a gun at his store, nor did he install thick plexiglass. She said her brother told his employees that if a robbery happened, hand over your money. Money comes and goes, but you only get one life. During closing arguments of the trial, Richard Glanda, lawyer for Diaz Gaskin, who is said to have shot Sulaka, said his client thought the gun's safety was on. All 3 men were sentenced to life in prison without parole.
What does that mean? Fill us in. Because you know what? I'm a little worried for them. What more could you possibly want to take from this family, yet insult them and threaten them and say, this ain't over yet?
I don't know. I wasn't talking to them. I know for a fact I wasn't.
Well, who were you talking to?
I was talking to my family.
This ain't over yet?
I didn't say the B word. You could play the record.
If I could give you an extra 10 years, I would, but I can't.
Number 3, Jeffrey Clark. Jeffrey Clark and Tamara Scott were charged with the slaying of Jeray Robinson. Police say Clark is facing several charges, including the first degree. Scott is accused. Number 3, Jeffrey Clark. Jeffrey Clark and Tamara Scott were charged with the slaying of Jeray Robinson. Police say Clark is facing several charges, including the first degree. Scott is accused of helping Clark get away after the incident. The incident happened after Clark got into a confrontation with the Robertson in Roseville. During the confrontation, Clark began to fire shots at the victim and continued to do so as he ran into Fraser. Prosecutors said, at that point, Jeffrey Clark happens to be in a vehicle with the co-defendant who drove around 13 miles and found a victim running northbound in Fraser. He got out of the vehicle at 13 Mile and fatally shot him in the parking lot at Joy and Franklin. At the time of the incident, the defendant had a tether on his ankle and records placed him at the location. Clark's co-defendant Scott was charged with accessory after the fact. Prosecutors say she jumped into the driver's seat, drove the vehicle into the parking lot, and picked up Clark after the incident. Her attorney says she does not have a criminal background and acted out of fear, saying she calls 911 on the day in question and attempted to alert authorities. The actions done after the fact, we are done, so I fear. The judge denied the bond for Clark but allowed it for Scott. Jeffrey Clark was in a Macomb County courtroom, and during his preliminary hearing, which is when the prosecution presents evidence that they want to use in the trial. Among the evidence was the surveillance video, which showed a victim laying in the parking lot and another man standing over him with a gun, firing it multiple times.
He told me exactly what he did to Mr. Robertson. He told me that Mr. Robertson begged for his life. He proceeded to tell me that he would kill me if I told on him, and that the only thing he was worried about was that he was on tether.
The victim is laying on his side, rolling back and forth, and he holds his hand up as if asking the man to stop. The video showed at least one shot being fired, but a tree partially obscures the view. The suspect then walks away from the victim, leaving him for dead in the parking lot. After the video was played in court, the prosecution was preparing to introduce more evidence of a Nest video recording. As the prosecution was working to show the video, a sudden outburst occurred in the court as Clark was attacked by Robertson's twin brother. The man hit Clark multiple times in the back of his head and back. Clark tried to fight back but was hindered by the waist restraint, which chains his wrists to a chain around his waist. The two men are ultimately separated by attorneys and deputies in the courtroom. As Clark is led through the courtroom door, he yells, "They're going to see you," at the other man.
Man, they gonna see you.
The man is being taken into custody in the courtroom as the father of the suspect gets into a yelling match with another man. Robertson's brother is ultimately handcuffed and sat down in the courtroom. The father of the suspect is later heard apologizing multiple times for his actions. Peace was eventually restored to the courtroom, and the preliminary hearing continued. Clark was ultimately bound over for trial for the first degree. It's not clear what charges Robertson's brother will face. Macomb County Prosecutor Pete Lucido said in July that Robertson was executed and begging for his life. I can say after reviewing the evidence, this was an execution. The man was pleading for his life.
We have members of the victim's family, the defendant's family were present, so it's an emotional case. I mean, obviously we have an individual who was shot repeatedly. It's no surprise that emotions are involved. It's unfortunate that they decided to let those emotions unleash in the court.
Number 2, D'Angelo Martin. D'Angelo Martin terrorized Detroit's East Side in 2019 and took the lives of 4 different women. He will spend at least 45 years in prison after pleading guilty to second-degree charges. Martin pleaded guilty to the slayings of 4 women and the physical exploitation of 10 others. As part of his plea agreement, he will be sentenced to between 45 and 70 years in prison for each count. Currently, the 37-year-old was bound over for trial for the 4 cases and was expected to go before a jury, but instead a plea deal was reached and was sentenced in Wayne County. Martin was arrested after police were notified of a decomposing body found inside a vacant Detroit home on Mack Avenue. However, he's also been linked to slayings on Winthrop Street in February 2018 and 2 slayings in March 2019 on Coventry Street and Lindenhurst Street. When Martin was bound over for trial, he was bound with destroying Annetta Nelson, 57 years old, Nancy Harrison, 52, Trevesine Ellis, 55, and Tamara Jones, 55. They were all from Detroit.
My mother so much.
I've had nightmares every night. I'm grateful for the one man that found my sister in that house. Black and blue, bloody in her face. This man had the decency to bring my sister out.
During the sentencing, family members spoke about how their lives have changed. Among the family members was Gary Harrison, the father of Nancy Harrison. He said, "We miss Nancy. Nancy had a little problem, but she owned her own home, paid all of her bills, and every once in a while she'd go over to Detroit. That's where her mistake was."
You don't deserve to see daylight or another day in your life. She'll never be able to meet my babies, ever.
She had a little problem, but she owned her own home. She paid all of her bills, and every once in a while she'd go over to Detroit. And that's where the mistake was.
This gentleman had no reason for taking people's lives. Now he's going to be doing some time, and he looks upstairs and asks that man for forgiveness.
He said his daughter will never know his grandkids, both of whom were born after her passing. Harrison's brother, Timothy, spoke next and said that he was bitter about what Martin did. He said, "It's been a rough 3.5 years. Every day we think about Nancy. This gentleman here knows my..."
Let's see if this down a little bit.